If you took your high school and you had to walk into your high school every day and put your bag through a search machine like the ones they use in the airport, or had to be wanded, put your hands up in the air and stand with your legs spread and be wanded by a person before you could go into your high school, how do you think your high school experience would have been different?
Over-policing and implicit biases within the criminal justice system have been present since the birth of police authority in America. Over-policing is the act of having an influx of officers monitoring a specific area. This can lead to more unjust arrests and a higher crime rate for the nation. City Year Philadelphia is a nonprofit organization whose vision is to provide students from underprivileged backgrounds with the support in their education and in life. This organization also takes an active role in educating the youth on the criminal justice system and encourages a community police force to be established in certain areas.
The question of, is an area over-policed, in which at least my interpretation of that is that there are too many police around, or is it really, what is the relationship? Where is the trust or lack of trust? What is the rapport between the community and police? I think those are the bigger issues. When you think about like rap songs like 911 is a joke, that is not speaking to being over policed. That's speaking to the police not being around in cities and neighborhoods and cities when they're really needed. So that's actually saying we don't have enough police around. And then when you do get the police around, well, what are the attitudes? What are the comments? What are the biases, again, that come with those interactions? It's those things that I think lend themselves to poor rapport between police and community.
John Henderson is a graduate from Temple University, earning a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Mr. Henderson has spent time in his career as a supervisor within the juvenile justice system and has worked to mentor young students to put them on a better path for success.
Being African American, with a population that was largely African American at that time, the students, we called them students, by the way, and or detainees, but the students that we had there, I think atmospherically representing certain things gave, and being able to have an interpersonal relationship with them gave pause to them about, hey, maybe there's something about this guy's path that I can mirror. It also helped to have some common ground with them in terms of music, physical fitness and sports, and the arts. These are all things over and above what they were there for the clinical or juvenile justice related things that instantly every student there had one thing in common: they were locked up. Every counselor had something in common with every student, in as much as we were there in charge of them while they were locked up.
We need to work more on understanding the community, understanding hopes, fears, concerns, recognizing the history that police have had, recognizing the history that the police have had with specific families and those experiences.
As far as policing goes, when there's families, and particularly we're talking about young people that don't have access to programs and activities and structured events with the right kinds of supervision, and they're idle, and if they're miseducated or undereducated at that point, making them even more vulnerable to some of the decision-making problems they can run into based on poor decision-making. It makes it easier for the police to identify folks that are, for whatever reason or the other, disenfranchised from places that would keep them safe.
When these youth become disenfranchised, they are targets for police, especially in over-policed communities. Through efforts in establishing criminal justice reform, we look to create a better, more fair system that treats everyone equally under the eyes of the law.